So today I just want to go ahead and dive into performance of this Solana to render liquidity pool that I've been running for quite literally 61 days now. So I opened this position on February 25th, 2025. It's currently April 27th, 2025. It has only been out of range, I want to say once or twice, and it was just barely out of range. I'm actually at a point where I'm about to rebalance this one right after this video, but I just wanted to keep you guys up to date with performance, what went right here, and how I actually made over $4,000 from this by just taking a long-term approach. Now guys, this is the same exact approach that I use in my DeFi formula strategy, which is putting together a portfolio with high quality assets that you're betting on their future, their growth, and then generating yield in the meantime. Guys, I focus on accumulating more assets. I don't focus on APRs. And this APR right here shows 25%, although it is actually 80% because this thing has bounced around the bush basically the whole time, right? So if we do essentially $2,800 divided by 61 days that we are in the pool, basically, that's going to give us about $45 per day roughly. And then if we essentially equate that to a yearly value, that's going to come out to about 17 grand per year or so off of this single liquidity pool, and then divide it by the deposits, which is just a little over $21,000. So that gives us a 79.5% APR. It's basically 80%. Point is, this pool has done very, very well. Not only has it seen high APRs, minimal divergence loss, it has also seen an actual profit, but it wasn't always like this. If we take a look at the pool price over here, I have it pulled up on Metrics Finance. This is essentially my time frame. So I was in this pool for 61 days. So this is right where I started at over here. And then this is my range that I've been running for this whole time. And as you can see, we essentially bounced around the place all the way up until like late March, so about 22, 23 days or so. And then eventually what ended up happening was it started to go down. And when I say go down, I mean the price of the pool started to go down, meaning that Render was actually outperforming Sol. And then I got to a point where I had a little bit more divergence loss. Over here, had a good amount of divergence loss, needed to rebalance, but wasn't in a situation where I wanted to. And since we saw a quick move in the market, I knew that chances are there was going to be a little bit of a retracement. So what did I do? I waited. We waited, we got to a better price point. I didn't rebalance, and then the same thing happened. Quick move downwards, and I'm like, okay, as soon as we get back up, I am rebouncing. Because it's hard to like kind of actually hit your rebalances on these ones because you're like, oh, it's back in range. Oh, minimal divergence loss. Oh, profit. Oh, good APR. Everything looks good on paper. But when you actually dive into the ranges, you end up realizing, oh, shoot, I do need to rebalance because I'm very, very close to my bottom price. And that's why it's very, very useful for the pools that Metrics Finance does track, which we are working on Radium. But it's very useful to be able to see this chart on your actual tracking position page. That way you know when you need to hit your rebalances. With that being said, I saw that move up. And now today we're at a point where I don't have nearly as much divergence loss. We have basically $600 of divergence loss. And of course, I have $2,800 of earnings. So I'm happy to rebalance right here. I also have an overall profit loss. This thing's at a 20% ROI. So I'm going to go ahead and rebalance now. And when I rebalance, well, my range is going to drastically change because I'm going to bring down that min price because we no longer are all the way up here. I'm going to bring that thing down to something like 41. And then that min price is going to go down to something like 25, 26 or so, probably around 25. And again, it's not going to capture any crazy APRs or anything like that. If we look at the past 30 days of data, we're probably going to capture about a 54% APR or so. Now, if there's some increased volume, that'll help out, but I'm happy to be doing 54% APR with minimal divergence loss and on two assets that have a lot of growth potential. I just want to go ahead and show you some examples of what this pool can do. If we pull up Sol over here, and then we also pull up Render over here in CoinGecko. We're gonna just look at the past year. So Sol's currently at 150 bucks, and literally earlier this year, Sol was at $262. Render is currently at $4.37, and late last year, so December, so just about a month before January, it was at $10.30. Not a 1 year high, but close to it basically. So let's just assume 260 and basically $10.50. If we simulate this, $10.50, and then over here 260, right? Well, obviously we're gonna go out of range on the way up, but that already alone leaves us with $48,000, a double from what we actually have. Now, with that being said, let's say we're a little bit more strategic about this and we say, okay, well maybe price of Sol goes up to something like 200 bucks, Render goes up to like, let's just say $6.50 or something like that. So there's some divergence loss. Hey, we can even add a little bit more, so we're being a little bit conservative here. $7.50, just like that. Lots of divergence loss, right? We have 37 grand. We could go and rebalance this position. Let's break down what that looks like. On this new position, we'll probably end up diving in with a broader range. Let's just say 32.5 or 32. And then all the way over here, we're doing something like maybe 15 or so, because we're expecting render to do very, very well. And then from there, we simulate our performance. Okay, the second position, because we're running longer term positions, 10.5 and then 260. Look at that. We end up with $50,850. There's not much divergence loss whatsoever. There is in this first position, but odds are fees are going to outweigh that, especially because as we start to see those huge movements in price, typically we're going to see higher volume, which is going to affect this APR. My point being, just like that, a position that we're not focusing on APR with, not focusing on the, what could we get off of a position if we did a super tight range, assets that didn't really matter. We could probably get probably $120 a day. Well, over the course of 90 days, $120 per day, assuming it remains consistent, assuming that your assets don't actually go down, right? That's $10,800. Now, again, that's best case scenario. Whereas if we just target something that's super high quality, we're seeing a double on our initial assets, taking 25 grand to 50 grand, and we're also generating income. That 50 grand does not include any income that we generate, which is at the moment $37 per day. That's not even factoring in the fact that that $37 per day is going to become 50, 75, 100 as our assets rise and as more volume comes into the market. So my point being, it's a much better situation. You're generating some short-term income. That income is being used to accumulate more assets. And then of course, those assets are appreciating, and same thing goes with your initial assets. And guys, a lot of people think when I say, oh, you're just chasing yields, they think that I'm telling them that they're chasing meme coins. I'm not chasing meme coins. Guys, when I say chasing yields, I'm saying you're chasing the actual APRs. That's the only metric you focus on, right? APR is not a metric that I focus on. APR is supplemental income to me. I focus on growth of my assets. You can be in very, very blue chip assets, very high quality assets, but your range is way too tight to the point where the market reacts. Guess what? You instantly go out of range. You have a bunch of divergence loss, and you did it. Why? Because you wanted a high APR and you were chasing yields. So that's exactly why we take a longer term approach. But I just wanted to show you guys this little case study for myself. I have 10, 20 positions just like this that I've been running over the past couple years. I take a more long-term approach in my investing simply because I'm not here for tomorrow. I'm not here for the next month. I'm not here for the next 6 months. I'm here for the next 2, 5, 10 years, basically. I take a long-term approach. And does that mean that I'm going to be holding all the way until then? Absolutely not. I'm going to plan my exits, right? I'm going to exit markets, enter into stable coins, and then when we see big dips in the market, re-enter. But I'm bullish on this industry, and I'm bullish on these assets continuing to appreciate longer term. That being said, guys, let me know if you have any questions, and let me know what problems you guys are experiencing down below in the comment section so I can help you guys out by making some content. And with that being said, if you guys do need any support with your portfolio, I work one-on-one with some people, so does my team. We've worked with over 200 plus people in the past few years. That number is about to become 300. So yeah, if you guys need support, there's a link right below this video. You guys can check it out. I'll send you to my website, tell you a little bit of information about my company, and we'll go from there. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one, and peace out.